Okay, today was chaotic in all of the mentally exhausting ways that I can think of as I sit here in this moment. Um, I do believe I made some strides forward in this weird little experiment to see if I am as smart as the people that have successfully done this without as much help as I end up needing to research. But I do believe that there was some progress. So, we begin with a tale of two PCs. Earlier this year, I was determined to alleviate some of the workload from the old PC by getting a new one. Mew. So, the new PC handles the heavy workload of streaming or just media recording in general. So I use OBS to kind of record everything that happens on the desktop. And because it's more media focused and it has a better graphics card than the old one, it also kind of does a lot of the Blender work that I've been doing recently. And as far as this story goes, it's also kind of where Fit OSC has been relocated and messed around with. Let's see. So the old PC, now that its workload has been lightened a little bit, it's now able to focus on the games. And because of the nature of games, it's just kind of where I've left VR to sort of exist until I can think of a better thing. Because meta does not exist on the new PC. And I'm sort of trying to keep it that way. But that means that because VR has to exist on the old PC, that's also where Slime VR exists. And just in the nature of the way that data works, these two are basically separate planets. And as anyone in the space program can tell you, that it is super difficult to transfer data and information from one planet to another, at least not without significant time. So we got to figure out how to transfer data between these two if we want to experiment in different environments or just have things talk to something else. Because Fit OSC doesn't do us any good unless it talks to one of our VR situations. So the few ways that I've messed around with to sort of transfer data from here to there is one, through the capture card. So that can portray visual data, and it can do audio. So anything that happens on the old PC, I can hear it on the new PC or through the new PC. And obviously, if I play a game here and I need OBS to see it, so that's what Elgato's for. The second way that I've done so far is to just use the old and tried and true USB method. So you get a thumbstick, you shove it into one computer, put the data on there, take it out safely, and then move it over to the other computer and then offload that data, rinse and repeat. And that's how we move Fit OSC around, but we'll get there. So the third way is not really a data transfer thing, but it does allow stuff to kind of talk to each other, and that's the Wi-Fi signal or the hotspot and Bluetooth. I forget what their symbol looks like. So one of the ways that I've tested this earlier in the year is I wanted Slime VR. I wanted Slime VR to talk to Blender. And so the way that I did that was through this method where I had the old PC ask if it could talk to Blender through the new PC. And there was port numbers that needed to be exchanged. So Slime gives out like a 4-digit number, so it could be like 5214 or something like that. And then Blender looks to see if this exists, and then if it sees that, it gives the okay, and it does that. And we have video evidence that I was moving Slime VR trackers around and having the old PC process that data, and then the old PC would send that data over to Blender and move the character around within the Blender space on the new computer. Why is this relevant? Because FitOSC needs to talk to the VR games. Now, the problem, though, is that FitOSC doesn't have those digits. There's just like there's a cogwheel, but it's to know, or it's to let the software know if you want to use the metric system or not the metric system, and just sort of set stuff. So there's no way to give it a port number for some other program that's searching for that data, that key, to accept and transmit, sort of thing. So trying to do this method the same way, it doesn't work because there's no receiver, right? Or there's no key being sent out. So the keyhole just sort of sits there and goes, where are we at? So I ended up taking this instead and moving it through USB port and putting it out here, where then it can talk to the VR situation. So once we got there, so now we've got FitOSC talking to VR chat, and this is kind of what I ended up sort of dealing with, and I now have a new sort of mystery to solve, which is VR chat understands that FitOSC exists and is taking in information, but there's no real indication that sort of tells me that FitOSC is outputting information. Like VR chat is nice enough to give us a little tiny box that says, now sending information to FitOSC. The only indication that FitOSC is sending out data is when I change something in the FitOSC software, and within the VRC OSC, the data changes in that box. And I haven't done anything within VR chat, but I've only messed with stuff in FitOSC. So that tells me that VR chat is listening to FitOSC, but I don't know if it's actually transmitting any data. Because I do up the walk speed, but the avatar's feet don't react to that change. So I still have some... I actually do think that I missed some legislature somewhere, some documentation. So I'm going to go back, kind of comb through the paragraphs and stuff like that, and see if I did miss something. But other than that, I'm just running tests now. And that's always fun. It's fun. I hope this made sense, because now that I'm about to hit stop recording, I'm hearing the words that came out of my mouth, and I'm looking up at this, and I'm sorry you had to witness that.